Hello. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Break from Reality. I am your host, Denzel. How's it going? How is it going? Good, I hope. Today, what are we talking about? Denzel? I'll tell you what we're talking about. We're talking about stand-up comedy. I've been diving into these specials lately. Some of my favorite comedians have been putting specials out on Netflix. So just a heads up, I will be talking about Dave Chappelle, and I'll also be talking about Bill Burr and Whitney Cummings. I'm gonna start with Whitney Cummings. That's the one I watched recently. Whitney Cummings, she put out a special on Netflix, and it's called "Can I Touch It?" I think it's called "Can I Touch It?" Hold on. Which I think is pretty funny because it's I don't know. One is Whitney Cummings; she's pretty funny, but that's clickbait right there, dude. Like, you gotta click on that, dude. Like, what is that? Like, can I touch what? Like, what are you talking about? So, yeah, man. Let's see. What the hell? See, I'm sorry. I'm scrolling through Netflix right now, just to make sure I have the Yes, yeah. Make sure I have the title of the special right. Yeah, it's Whitney Cummings. Can I Touch It? And she has some really good points in there, man. She was talking about how before she noticed that like she used to not complain, but she used to like point out stuff that like men do a lot, and how like she agreed with women, and now as she's getting older, she's like, well, women, you all aren't so innocent either. He was like, some of the stuff that you do is very questionable. I can like understand from a guy's point of view, like why they feel some type of way about those things, which is really nice because it's just, I don't know, it's really nice that to have that, I guess, like agreeableness, because lately what you've been seeing, it's been really divided lately. It's kind of like, men versus women, and minorities versus whites. Like that's what it's been feeling like. That's what the attitude's kind of been lately. And I hate it. I fucking hate it, because that's not gonna get us anywhere. This is gonna get us into a lot of people's gonna get hurt. It's going to get a lot of people in trouble, and that's just not the way. If we're trying to progress, that's just not the way. That's just not the direction. But the thing that got me the most with her special is that she had a robot made that looks just like her, and that was another thing that was another point she was making. She was talking about how people's attitudes towards artificial intelligence and robots, and she's like, I don't think they're gonna like take us over, or I don't think it should be anything that people should worry about, or it's not as bad as it seems. And she was like, she was saying how like when it comes to the sex bots that it might replace real women, and she was like, it's not. And she's like, I don't think so. And yeah, and I agree, because it's really weird well, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's weird, because people have their personal preference. Like that movie, a movie called Her. I can't think of the actor's name right now, but he was like he pretty much like fell in love with his phone, and I was like, all right, well, that was him, but. That's the thing. As she was saying, she was like, she went on forums and she saw that there were guys on there that had female robots, and they were like talking as if they're in a relationship with them, and they were like talking about like maintenance and stuff to do to help, like stuff to do that. Like I guess it was like a support group for people who have a relationship with their robots, but it was mostly men. And she was like, yeah, I just don't think they're gonna, like, if, all guys just have a sex bot, like, nah, that's just crazy. Like, just looking at it, it's just weird. I don't understand how someone can prefer like a robot or technology over like actual human interaction. But that's another point she made. Is she was like, we are so glued to our phones, like we depend on technology so much, like, that's why it seems possible because people would do it. But she was like she was like, have you ever seen someone when they drop their phone in water? She was like, they have a meltdown. But she was like, you can see some starving kid in a third world country, and you're ready to change the channel. And she was like, and then the comparison, which was golden to me. She was like, you drop your phone in water, and you're like, oh my god, get their rice, get their rice. But you see a starving child on TV, and that's when you should get the rice. So that was very funny. That was a really good point. But overall, yeah, I really liked her. I really liked her comedy special. And congratulations to her. She's engaged now. So yeah, congratulations. And yeah, I really like that special. So go check it out. It's on Netflix. It's again Whitney Cummings. Can I touch it? So next one, we're talking about Dave Chappelle. It's one of my favorite, one of my top. He's like top 5 for sure. And there's a lot of controversy behind his special. I just watched that for the second time recently. Like I watched this special like when it first came out, like as soon as it hit Netflix. But then I watched it again not too long ago, and the second time around, I was like, well, the first time I watched it, I was just like, just it was my first time. It was like the first viewing experience, so I was like, oh, I wonder what he's gonna talk about and talk about some stuff. I really didn't pay attention as much, but watching the second time around, I'm like, yo, he actually made some good points. I don't understand what people are really that upset about. It's like I really don't understand. Like, yeah, he talked about some topics that people feel like you shouldn't talk or joke about. But that's the thing. I feel like people are losing sight of what comedy is or how it all, like what it was about. And at first, people, like if you look at comedians from like back in the day, a lot of a lot of stuff that people consider offensive now was like said all the time. It wasn't just like some comedians. It was just like everybody. But now like people go to comedy shows and they're just like, oh, this person said this, and I don't agree with it, and they shouldn't be able to do comedy anymore. And it was like, yo, one thing, okay, it's one thing like it's one thing to go to like, okay, so Dave Chappelle, Dave Chappelle by now. He's been in the game for a long time. You know his type of comedy. You know the type of shit that he says. So for you to, like, he even pointed out, he was like, this is on Netflix. Like, you clicked on it, He was like, for you to, like, sit down, you're scrolling through Netflix, you're like, oh, Dave Chappelle. You watch it, and then you don't like what was said in it. And you're just like, huh, I can't believe, like, you can stop watching it. There's a back button. There's, like, a home button. Just leave Netflix. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand the whole thing. Like, you sit there and you watch it. Like, I feel like people do it just to be upset. Like, I'm gonna watch this shit and I'm gonna get upset. Let's do it. But a lot of people, like, he made some very good points about the whole, I think the Michael Jackson stuff was pretty dicey. It was pretty edgy. But I think he made a really good point about the LGBTQIA stuff. And especially the he said Jussie Smollett, but the Jussie Smollett incident, like, I couldn't agree more. And he had a really, okay, so before I get to that, I want to go back to earlier in his set where he said he pointed out how he can say no, I'm not gonna censor myself either because he said it. Like, I mean, this is where he said how he can say nigger all the time, or nigga all the time on his show, but he couldn't say faggot. And he was like, the person that was like I guess like the head of like Comedy Central, or like the person that was in charge of like censorship at Comedy Central, told him that the reason why you can't say faggot is because he's not gay. And then he said, well, I'm not a nigger either. And I was like, wow, that was beautifully crafted. Like that's a great joke. That was well, I mean, wow. Like that hit home, dude. I was like, wow, that's it. That was pretty good. And then the whole Jussie Smollett thing. Yeah, like honestly, oh no, before I get to that too, he mentioned cancel culture, and Bill Burr did too. So I feel like actually, since they both mentioned that, I'm going to address that when I get to Bill Burr's special. But so yeah, we're gonna go back to the Jussie Smollett thing. So this he said exactly what I was thinking the whole time. Now, one, I feel like now it's really popular now that people like to just jump on the allegation and not actually. I can't even say that because that's something else I want to talk about later. So I can't. Okay, I'm going to like. There's going to be some holes because I'm going to come back to it later, but I don't want to like say it now because I feel like I'll be repeating myself if I say it again when I talk about Bill's special. But he had a really good point with the facts. Okay, I can talk about that with the facts of the incident. He was saying how Jussie Smollett got attacked at 2 a.m. in Chicago when it was like 16 degrees outside, or it was under 16, I forgot, but it was like very cold outside. And while he was going to get some Subway, or while he was leaving Subway. Now, I don't know if people were thinking about this, but when you think about the I guess you call it the psychological autopsy, or the facts of the event of the attack, it really doesn't make sense. Okay, so you're telling me that you're going to leave your house as a celebrity, as a famous person, or just not just as a person in general. All right, you're going to leave your house at 2 a.m. in the morning to go to Subway, out of all places. And then another thing, what Subway is open at 2 a.m.? I don't know how store hours work in Chicago, but all the Subways I know or ever been to, I'm pretty sure none of them shits are open at 2 a.m. Unless that's just in Chicago. I mean, shit, that just really doesn't make sense to me. And then you get attacked by two men wearing MAGA hats and a ski mask, and they pour bleach on you and they put a noose around you. But my thing is, by the time the police arrived at the scene, like, I don't know if they noticed, like, I wasn't there, but like, was he wet? Like, did he still have bleach on him? Did he smell like bleach? Like, was that a thing? The facts or the statements of the crime just seem very questionable. And Dave Chappelle pointed out, he was like, black people were awkwardly quiet during the whole thing, and that we usually don't feel bad for police officers, but we were feeling bad for police officers. And I found that to be pretty funny because he said that, black people just thought that was some bullshit. But on the other hand, since Jussie Smollett is also a gay man, that the LGBTQIA community were saying that black people were homophobic because they were not believing him when they weren't supporting him. There's also people who are black and gay, or just are identified with another letter, and they probably didn't feel that way. So, and there's black people who aren't homophobic, and they weren't saying anything or supporting him because of the information of the crowd. I was one of those people. I just could not how I just couldn't believe the statements, the facts. Like it just didn't make